Hey everyone, it's Jenna. In today's video, we're going to be doing a 45-minute beginners Pilates mat flow class. And this is really designed for anyone, all levels, even if you have never done Pilates before. I'm really going to break it down with the basic preliminary exercises that you'll want to learn before you start your Pilates routine. And then we will start to progress slowly into a more challenging workout, which is accessible, fun, and also challenging. And one of the reasons why I wanted to create this video today is that when I tell people I'm a Pilates instructor, they often say, oh, that's so hard. I don't think I can do Pilates. Pilates is scary. So I wanted to create this video to show you that isn't true. And Pilates was actually designed to be accessible. Joseph Pilates was like a physical therapist, and he was working with people of all levels, all backgrounds, working with soldiers, working with dancers. And so that's really what this method was designed for. And you should be able to do this movement routine, even if you're struggling with pain, even if you're struggling with an injury. Follow along. I give modifications as we go along. And if you are loving these videos and benefiting from these videos, please like and subscribe, and also hit the bell icon so that you'll be notified when I put these videos out every week. So with that said, you're going to want to grab a yoga block. If you don't have a yoga block, you can use a small Pilates ball or anything to place between your knees like a pillow. And you'll want a TheraBand or maybe a yoga strap, whatever you might have to assist you in doing some stretching at the end. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Lie down on your back. And just place the block between your knees so it's comfortable there. Let's take a couple long, deep breaths in. Breathing in through the nose and exhaling out the mouth. Breathing in for 4 and breathing out for 8. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Practice that just a couple more times with your own rhythm at your own pace. And if 4 and 8 doesn't feel good, you can try 3 and 6, 5 and 10. It doesn't really matter. Just make sure that you're breathing long and deep and that you're doubling your exhale to get all of that stale air out of the lungs and to invite in this nice, fresh oxygen into the body. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and from there, bring the hands to the sides of the ribs. We're going to do some more deep breathing. You don't have to necessarily count this time. But as you breathe in, you're going to really feel that wide, expansive stretch through the ribs. So let's just practice that a couple times. Breathing in, really stretching, expanding, and feel your ribs actually inflating out into your hands. So you could visualize 2 bucket handles, like you're lifting them up and out. Just practice a couple times. So this is how we want to breathe as we do our Pilates routine today, because that's going to allow you to keep this integrity and the stability of your spine as you're still breathing. So it shouldn't feel like you're holding the air in at all, but you're still able to take just as long of a breath. You're just sending the breath into areas where it doesn't typically go. That also helps to pump the ribs and create more mobility in the ribs and the spine. Beautiful. So from there, we'll move into the pelvic clock. You can imagine that your pelvis is a clock, with the top of the clock being your belly button, 12 o'clock, and the bottom of the clock being 6 o'clock, where your pubic bone is, or you could think about your tailbone. And we're just gonna rock from 12 to 6. So start with a deep breath in. As you exhale, rock towards your 12. Inhale, rock towards your 6. Exhale, rock to 12 and 6. So that's the basic movement. Now let's go ahead and bring our hands back to our rib cage. As you're doing this movement, see if you can keep the ribs stable so that only the pelvis is moving, not the ribs. You're not gripping the block as hard as you can between your legs. You're holding it like an egg as you're doing these rocks, these pelvic rocks. So breathing wide through the ribs on your inhale, exhale to tip the pelvis. And now we're going to really focus on the scooping of the abdominals as you tip back. And don't lose that as you rock the other way. Scoop the abdominals in as you imprint your spine. And keep that connection as you make a little arch in your back. That little blueberry space under your back is what we're going for. Good, one more time. Beautiful. All right, from there, let's go ahead and just bring the hands behind the head, just still going over some of the basics here. So in this position, I like to lift the elbows a couple inches off the mat, and notice how that changes your shoulder blades. It also creates more of like a hammock to support your neck. So you'll take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, slowly lift your head and your shoulders, rolling your chin to your chest and looking to your belly button. And you want to see that the abdominal wall is drawing down and in towards your spine as you do that. Go ahead and lower it down. Let's practice that a couple times. Exhale to lift. And as you're doing these, you want to feel this wrapping front to back. That's your transverse abdominis muscle, our core muscle. So don't forget that as you're coming up, because it's not going to always activate on its own. You want to draw it in and feel the wrapping front to back. So that's why we say to flatten the abdominals to the spine. Not because we're trying to go for flat abs, but because we're trying to activate that transverse abdominis muscle. And when that muscle activates, it does flatten the abdominals to the spine. Very good. Go ahead and bring the head down. Let's bring the arms to the side and just release the back a little bit. So you can just keep hugging that block. Gently take your legs, rocking them over to the right. Slowly come back through center. Exhale, rock the legs to the left, squeezing into that block a little bit. And only go as far as you can keep your shoulders heavy. So on my exhale, as I go to the right, I'm keeping my left shoulder down. Inhale back through center, exhale. Keeping my ribs even down as my legs go to the side. So we're kind of exploring the flexibility of our pelvis in relationship to our rib cage and shoulders. And we really want to just be working the lower leg, pelvis, but not allowing too much movement in the upper body. So we're working on the flexibility of the waist, which is important for a lot of rotational sports and also just daily activities that you would do in life, like turning and looking behind you, maybe as you're backing your car out. Or I guess people don't do that anymore because they have cameras, but I do that.
I still do that, yeah.
Come back through center. I have an old car, I don't have a camera. Okay, so from here, let's go ahead and go into a bridge. So we're in the same position. This is called the hook lying position. Heels are lined up with the sitting bones, arms are heavy at your sides, feel your shoulders dropping back. Even reach your fingers towards your toes. That'll help you keep the shoulders down your back. We're gonna roll through our 12 o'clock. So you're going to imprint your spine and slowly peel your hips up off of the mat, rolling up onto the shoulder blades, keeping your abdominal wall drawn in. Take a deep breath at the top. Keep tractioning your fingers towards your toes and slowly peel down. Really take your time as you sequence down through your spine and release your tail at the end. So you want to do that full range of motion like we did before, all the way through the pelvis at the end. Take a deep breath. Exhale, curl the hips back up as you roll up onto your shoulder blades, pressing into your heels, Feel that whole back line of your legs working, but especially your glutes. You can give them a little squeeze if you're not sure if they're working or not. As you exhale, peel all the way back down, just really massaging your spine into the mat. Big breath in at the bottom. Exhale to curl back up to the top, rolling back up onto the shoulders. And last time, we're gonna pour the spine down. So let's take the block away as you come down to the bottom here and adjust your feet if you need to. They're gonna be closer to your bum than you might think in order for them to be 90 degrees. And as you come into your bridge, you're gonna pause here. Keep the shoulders heavy on the mat. Take a breath in. We're gonna lift the right leg to tabletop. And we're just gonna hold it there and just feel your left glute working. Good, slowly bring that right leg down. Bring the left leg up, press into your heel, activate that glute. And breathe. Go ahead and bring the foot down, right leg lifts, press into the heel, activate that glute. Bring it down and switch. Good, and go ahead and bring it down. Let's go ahead and roll back down through the spine. Very nice. Let's try one more variation. If you're getting tired here, you can always just do a stretch instead. But we're gonna come back up and try one more. So you're gonna bring your right leg up to the ceiling for this one. Flex your foot, reach up through your heel. You're going to point, kick down, flex, kick up, exhale, point, kick down, inhale, flex, kick up. And we're trying to keep the pelvis in the same level the whole time and not let it droop like London Bridge falling down. We want to keep it up. Right foot goes down, left leg lifts, flex the foot, reach up through the heel, and point, kick down. You don't have to go down to the floor. You really want to go about the same level as your other leg. Everything is staying the same except for your left leg that's doing the moving. Last two. And one. Bend the knee, place the foot down, lift the hips a little higher, 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 and roll back down. Relax your shoulders, and relax your neck. Good, and let's go ahead and do a stretch from there. So cross your left ankle over your right knee, and we're gonna take it into figure four stretch, hugging your legs into your chest. Good, and just take a few breaths there. You should feel the stretch in your glute, so in your left hip. If you don't feel a stretch there, play around a little bit with the position, and it might just be you're not necessarily needing a stretch there if you don't feel it there. But you can try different things with your legs. Maybe bring your foot down, bring your leg up, and maybe you could even kind of bring your legs over towards the right, which will increase the stretch even more. Very nice. Let's go ahead and switch sides. Right ankle over left knee. Hug your legs into your chest. I'm just interlacing my hands behind my thigh and drawing my legs in towards my chest. Taking a couple long deep breaths here. And just send your breath into your hip and with the intention of allowing it to release. Beautiful. Go ahead and release that stretch. Bring your feet down. Let's bring the feet about as wide as the mat. And kind of like what we did earlier, we're gonna do windshield wipers side to side, but this time we're allowing the leg to fall in. So the leg that's internally rotating, we'll really let that knee drop with gravity towards the mat. It's really helpful for lubricating the hip joints, mobilizing the hip joints to help facilitate that internal rotation of the hip. Very good. All right. So we'll go over a couple of the Joseph Pilates 5s. And so that's going to start with the hands behind the head, legs up in tabletop. I always like to start with the hands behind the head to support the neck. As you exhale, you're going to curl your head and shoulders up. So we're just holding the legs up here in this tabletop position, drawing the abdominal wall in. We're going to reach the right leg out and pull it in. As you exhale, reach the left leg out and pull it in. So we want to stabilize the hips as we do this. Keep the back heavy on the mat. Good, let's do one more time here on the left. And now we're going to go into bicycles. So as your right leg reaches long, you twist to the left knee. As your left leg reaches long, twist to the right knee. And just keep twisting like that. Make sure you're twisting from your ribs, not just your elbows. So you want to keep the elbows wide as opposed to just pulling your elbow towards your knee. Let's do one more time here. And good, go ahead and release your head down, release your legs down. You can shake your legs out a little bit. Very nice. All right, now we're gonna go into the single leg stretch. So legs are back in tabletop for that one. You're going to bring your hands to your shin and your knee. Reach your left leg long. So hands on the right shin, left leg reaches long, and you're gonna switch. Hands on the left shin and switch. So we're trying to keep the head and shoulders in the exact same place the whole time and not drop them down lower. Inhale, switch, and exhale, switch. Keep drawing the abdominal wall down and in. Last one, and take a break. Very good. Bring your feet down. And I always like to take a moment to catch the breath. Returning to long, deep breathing. All right, very nice. Now we'll do the double leg stretch. So as the name suggests, the legs are going to both reach out this time at the same time. So we're just going to practice that part. As you exhale, the legs will reach long. As you inhale, legs will return to tabletop. Only go as low with your legs as you can keep your back heavy. So if it's hurting your back, you might want to try going higher. And if it's still not comfortable, you can always go back to a single leg reach. All right, so with the double leg stretch, we bring the hands to the shins or knees. You're going to lift your head and shoulders up. Bring your chin to your heart again, look to your belly button. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, legs reach forward, arms reach back. Circle the arms around, grab a hold of the knees or shins. Again, the head and shoulders are going to stay in the exact same place the whole time. They're not going to change. They're not going to lower down. We're going to do two more. And one. Awesome. Go ahead and lower your head down, lower your legs down. And let's just gently roll the head to the right. Roll the head to the left. So another one in the sequence of the fives that Joseph Pilates said you should do every day is scissors. But because we've been doing already a lot with our head lifted, we're going to do scissors with our hands behind our head. And we're going to add in a little bit of rotation like we did with the bicycle exercise, the crisscross. So we bring the hands behind the head. And let's go ahead and reach the legs up to the ceiling to start. Head and shoulders are up, abs are in. So we take a deep breath. As we exhale, your left leg stays up, but your right leg goes down. And then you switch. And then you switch. And switch. So I'm twisting towards the leg that's staying up. And again, I'm twisting from the center of my body rather than just my neck or elbow. Let's do one more time on each side, working those obliques. Very good. Woo, rest your head down and take a break. Return to the breath. Take some long, deep breaths. So even when the breath starts to speed up and our heart rate starts to increase, it's good to still take long, deep breaths. All right, from there, let's go ahead and bring the legs up to a tabletop position, and we're gonna do the rock and roll, where we rock up and down the spine. Trying to hold the balance point position behind the sitting bones. Hold the balance at the shoulders and head if you can. So each time your butt lifts in the air, try to hold. And if that's uncomfortable in your neck, of course, omit that and just rock. This time we're gonna hold the balance point position, rock back a little bit behind the sitting bones, reach the arms out in front of you. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, you're gonna roll down, down, down. Keep pulling the abdominals in as you lower all the way onto your back. Take a moment there, let your head rest, neck rest, relax shoulders. Let's try that again. So when we're concentrating or doing something that we feel is really challenging, it's common for the shoulders to come up into the ears. So we're gonna drop those shoulders down as we come up, consciously relaxing them, coming back to the top. Arms out in front of you. Exhale again. We're gonna roll back, drawing the abdominals in as you peel down. Very nice. All right. So that's always a variation you can do for the roll up with your legs in tabletop and your hands behind your thighs. If you want to try the next variation, it would be with your feet down and arms up, and seeing if you can roll up while keeping your feet down. And if it feels too hard to keep your feet down as you roll up, then you can always go back to what we just did with your legs in tabletop. Let's roll down from here. At the bottom, you're going to inhale, lengthen your spine, reach your arms back, exhale, lift the head and shoulders, draw the abdominal wall in, peel all the way up. Beautiful. Let's do one more like that. Really sinking the abdominals to the spine. As you're rolling down, the arms reach back, the arms will lift. You're going to set your core and roll all the way up. We're going to do that balance point again, where we tip back and lift the legs. We're going to bring the hands in front of the heart, palms together. Twist to the left. This is kind of like what we did earlier with our bicycles. Obviously, it's much harder. In this position, you want to keep scooping your abdominal wall in, reaching one leg forward as you twist to the bent knee. Oh, that's hard, right?
Yeah, it is.
All right, let's come into a cross-legged seated position. For some people, that's hard too. So if this feels really uncomfortable, you can always sit up on a cushion. And we're just gonna fold forward. So you can bring your hands out in front of you. And just with little spider fingers, start to walk your fingertips forward as you elongate your spine. You're gonna inhale, grow a little longer, a little taller in the spine. Exhale, you can bend your elbows to deepen the forward fold. And you'll most likely, well, it depends on your hips. You may feel it a lot in your hip flexors just sitting in this position, but you should also feel a stretch in the hip in terms of the leg that's forward. That's where you should feel the stretch. So if you have your right leg forward, you're going for a stretch in your right glute. Let's go ahead and switch. Now try to bring the other leg forward. And that might feel a little awkward if you're used to cross-legged seated with your right leg forward to then bring your left leg forward. So good to practice. Again, we're gonna just fold forward here and take a couple of breaths. Very good. And make your way back up. Nice job. Go ahead and from there, roll onto your side. Either grab a pillow or make a little pillow with your bottom arm under your head. And do a little sideline hip work here. First, we're gonna start with our alignment. So we want a neutral spine, which means you're going to lift your bottom waist like you have a little mouse house between your rib and your hip. And notice how that lengthens your top side. Ribs are gonna draw back and in. You want one straight line from your head to your tail, and your heels are lined up with your sitting bones. Bring your top hand on your hip. Exhale, top knee will lift for clamshells, just keeping your hips stacked. Try not to squish your little mouse house as you're doing this under your bottom waist, keeping the top waist long, and really feeling those deeper hip rotators working. So you could bring your hand to your sitting bone area, feel those muscles turning on as your leg is lifting. Good, let's do 3 more, and 2, good, and 1, nice. Next variation, feet are lifting. Same thing, lifting the top knee, but now your feet are up as well. Again, checking in with the ribs, keeping the abs engaged. Should feel the hip burning a little bit by now. 2 and 1. Good. We're just gonna hold the knee up there, hold the legs up there and breathe for 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring it on down. Very nice. Let's straighten the top leg from there. Really flex the foot, reach out through the heel. We're gonna start to draw a circle, going down, back, up, and around. So the hips are staying stable. As you're doing that, no movement in your pelvis at all. Just your leg is circling in the socket. Let's go for 2 more. And 1. And then up and back and around and down. Keeping the pelvis nice and steady as you do the reverse for 4, 3. Keep going up and back towards like the corner of your room, the upper corner of your room. 2 and 1. Let's do little pulses up and down. So keep taking your leg back so that the front of your hip is open and your hip flexors don't try to dominate that movement. Ribs are still in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Go ahead and bend that knee. Give your glute a little massage there. Bring your top arm up to the ceiling. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, start to just reach the arm all the way back. Should feel a good stretch in your pecs. And bring the arm back down. And we're going to go into a side plank. So you're going to prop yourself up onto your bottom arm, elbow under shoulder, ribs are lifting off of or away from the mat. Top hand is on the hip. Turn your chest towards me. Good, you're going to keep all that. Push into your shins and lift. So we're keeping the neck long, keeping that shoulder plugging down towards your hip. Continue to keep your head in line with the rest of your spine. 1 more breath there, and down. Nice. All right, now we're going to try straightening the legs. So that's the second variation. You can always go back to the first. It's like you're walking on a tightrope. The top foot is in front of your bottom foot, and lift up from there. We're using that serratus, that underarm muscle, feeling the work all the way down the side of your body. Good, come on down and rest. All right, let's flip our mermaid tails over and roll over onto your other side. Go ahead and find that pillow again under your head. Mouse house under your bottom waist, hand on hip. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, lift the top knee. As you inhale, lower down. Let's keep going with those clamshells. Just make sure that your hips stay stacked. As you're doing these, you can even bring your hand to your sitting bone. Make sure you're really working from those lower deep hip rotators. If you push your sitting bone into your fingers, you're probably going to feel it a little bit more in those smaller muscles like the obturator internus, the gemellus. Live there in that area of your hip. 4, 3, 2, 1, and lift your mermaid tail. So the feet are gonna lift, and you're gonna keep the feet up there as you're lifting the top knee. So again, the abdominals are drawn in, ribs are drawn in, working from those deep lower hip stabilizers for 4, 3, 2, 1, and good. Bring it on down. Straighten that top leg, flex the foot. Top waist is long, and start to make your circle here. And as you're making that circle, feel your hip. That's the easiest way to know if you're moving your hip or not, is with your hand there. Make sure that's staying stable, your legs going up and back towards the back corner of the room. Let's do 2 more in that direction. Good, and let's go ahead and do the reverse. Back, around, and down. Keeping the abs engaged. Last couple here. And 2. And 1. Very nice. Bring that leg down. I always like to, helps to distract your brain from the pain of the muscle burning when you massage it. All right, let's go ahead and bring the top arm up. We're gonna go for a stretch. Spiral your heart open as you reach your arm back. Feeling that nice opening in the front of the chest. And slowly bring that arm back down in front of you. Good. Okay, so we're gonna prop ourselves up on our bottom forearm. Take a moment there to lengthen your spine. Nice long diagonal line from your pelvis out through the crown of your head. Push into your forearm from there. Keep the neck long, so head is right in line with the rest of your spine. Breathing. And good, bring it down. Might feel like one side is stronger than the other side. So now we're gonna go ahead and straighten the legs. Top leg is forward, bottom leg is back, like you're walking like an Egyptian. Press into your forearm, lift the bottom hip. Again, long line through the crown of the head. Holding and breathing. And come on down. Very nice. All right, we're just gonna flip onto the belly from there. Reach the arms all the way out in front of you. Your legs can be about as wide as the mat here. Pubic bone will be heavy on the mat, lower belly in. Make sure your arms are straight. You're going to push into your arms. Start to lift your gaze towards the baseboard in front of you. Slide your shoulders down your back and keep the neck long. From there, you're just gonna drag your hands out on the mat and slowly bring your forehead down. Again, you're gonna lift your gaze. If you need to, you can kind of just caterpillar your fingers in so that you can get into the right position if your hands aren't sliding on your mat. Pressing into the palms, lifting the gaze, the collarbones, long neck, roll back down. Let me do that one more time. Drag your hands back towards your hips, press into your hands, lift the gaze, rotate your upper arms away from your midline, keeping your collarbones wide, and slowly drag your hands back down. So this is the prep for swimming. So come into a position where your ribs are down but your chest is off the mat. Your head is reaching out of your shoulders like a turtle, peeking its head out of its shell. Take a deep breath from here as you exhale. Right leg lifts, left arm lifts, and bring it down. Left leg, right arm, and down. Right leg, left arm. So that's the swimming prep. Really good for strengthening the muscles of the back. Now we're going to do the full swimming exercise. So that's where you're going to lift your legs, lift your arms, beat your arms and legs, pull the abdominals in, neck is long. Again, shoulders down. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, and inhale, exhale, and relax. Good. All right, very nice. From there, we'll just go ahead and push into the arms, press yourself back into a child's pose. Really let your hips be heavy on your heels. Reach your arms out in front of you, allow your forehead to drop to the mat. Just take a few breaths there.
And forward.
As you're ready, go ahead and make your way into quadruped or hands and knees. Imagine you just have hot cups of tea on your spine that you don't want to spill, and that's how you know you're in your neutral. And you can imagine also that there is a tailbone, not a tailbone, a helium balloon on your tailbone that's floating your tailbone up towards the ceiling. You're going to take a deep breath in from there, and as you exhale, drag your right leg back, your left fingertips forward, but keep them connected to the mat. So keep your toes and fingers connected to the mat and drag it back in. Left toes drag back, right fingertips drag forward. So we're just practicing here our spinal stability. Keep the abdominals drawn in. Nothing's changing in your spine, neutral spine. Nice and steady in the hips. It's good to practice that first. So the next time your right leg reaches back, your left arm reaches forward, you're going to lift. So now we're in our bird dog position. Bring the toes, the fingers down. Slowly drag it back in, switching sides. Left leg reaches long. Lift the arm, lift the leg. Take a breath. Lower it down. And good, bring it back in. Now, we're gonna go into the same position, arm and leg lift, take a deep breath. Exhale, pull your elbow to knee, knee to elbow around your spine, and slowly reach it back out. Let's do 2 more like that. Elbow to knee, scoop and draw in, and reach. Elbow to knee, scoop and draw in, and reach it out. Good, hand down, knee down. And the beauty of that is we give that wrist a break as you switch sides. Elbow to knee, knee to elbow, round and scoop in, and reach it long. Round and scoop in, and reach. 1 more, scoop in, and reach. Very, very good. Let's go ahead and go down onto the forearms. We're gonna make our way into a forearm plank. So for that, you're gonna have your elbows under your shoulders, stretch your legs back, tuck your toes under, drop the hips so they're right in line with the rest of your spine. Hold and breathe. With each exhale, draw your abs in a little more. Feel that wrapping front to back. Good. Stretch back to child's pose. That just takes the weight off of your upper body. All right, let's do another forearm plank. So come down onto your forearms. We're gonna add another variation this time. So you're gonna take your left foot out and bring it in, right foot out and bring it in, left foot out. So you're just kind of tapping it to the side of your mat. Out and in, and out and in. 1 more set on each side. Ooh, and take a break, stretch it back. Nice. All right. Come on up, and let's go ahead and sit down again at the front of the mat. And we're just gonna go ahead and roll down. So as you're ready, sit down at the front of your mat and heel down. And you want to have your TheraBand close by. We're going to just do some stretching here. Place the band around your foot. The other leg will reach long. And you're just going to take some long, deep breaths here. From there, go ahead and cross the leg over your midline, stretching your IT band, the side of your hip, and don't go into a huge spinal twist here. We only want to go as far as you can feel the stretch in your hip. So you're pinning down one side of the muscle with your sacrum down, and then drawing the leg the other way. That's what a stretch is, when the two attachment points move away from each other. Very good. Let's go ahead and go the other way for an inner thigh stretch. And bring your other hand onto your hip, encouraging that hip to stay down. Just a few long, deep breaths here. And go ahead and come on up. Let's switch sides. You're pulling down on the balls of your toes and reaching your heel up to the ceiling. Cross the leg over the midline, feeling that stretch down the side of your leg. Keep doing those long, deep breaths. Good, let's go ahead and go the other way. Stretching your adductors, keeping the opposite hip down so you can bring your hand onto your hip and encourage that weight. And slowly bring that leg back up. And good, we're gonna go ahead and put both feet in the band now. And you're going to come into a Pilates V with your heels together, your feet apart in a little V. We're going to press the legs out, squeeze the inner thighs together, and pull the knees back in. So we're going to just more for the hip mobility goal here. So as you're pulling your legs in, really pull your knees towards your armpits or out towards the sides of the room so that you get that full hip flexion. And I'm just keeping my legs turned out the whole time. So when I straighten my legs, my knees and toes are still turned out. Trying to squeeze my legs together all the way. Feeling that resistance in both phases of the exercise. Let's do one more like that. And this next time, let's just hold the frog position. Keep drawing your legs in. It's kind of like a happy baby. So you can start to bring your feet a little bit higher towards the ceiling if you want more stretch. And as you're ready, go ahead and release. Take the band away. Let's bring the hands to the knees. Just hug the knees into your chest. You can gently rock side to side a couple times. From here, we're going to go ahead and rock ourselves up to seated and stretch the legs out in front of you for spine stretch forward. So we'll just go ahead and straighten the legs. Reach the arms out in front of you, nice long spine, lifting your ribs out of your pelvis. As you exhale, round your spine over your legs, using your abs, using your core to create that spinal flexion. And then slowly initiating tailbone rolls down, and you slowly stack your spine. Inhale to grow taller. Lift the ribs out of the pelvis. Exhale. Again, spine stretch over the legs. And slowly roll yourself back up. Good. And this next one, we'll just do a forward fold all the way into as far as you want to go, as far as it feels good. Slowly come back up to stack your spine. Arms come back out to the sides, and we're just going to do a forward fold. So you can go ahead and bring your hands out in front of you and just fold forward and breathe. Giving your body some love. We're going to just walk the legs in, and we're going to just give our legs a little massage, waking them up and encouraging some blood flow to move all of the waste products through the muscle tissues, which is what happens when we exercise. You can do your back as well, your hips, glutes, and as you're doing this, you're massaging your body, giving it love. Beautiful.